I'm fine. How are you? Corona? Yeah, it is about, the power of love when we're letting go with love, especially when we are grieving or someone has passed on or a big change in our life has changed. Maybe we were married and now you're not married, it is still a form of grieving. Or if you have some kind of a medical condition that actually changes your life around forever, that could be a form of grieving, and it's really important to when we use the power of love, it's easier for us to let go of the pain and the suffering of love. Now, I know everybody grieves at a whole different level. I mean, there's not like one person grieves the same as another. We all have different ways of grieving, but I wanted to really just talk a little bit about some of the grieving cycles or what it is that we need to do when we feel this life shift, or maybe we're the one that's suffering for so long and we're just tired of the grieving, or what do we need to do? How can we change our story around the emotional story around so we're actually getting our energy back so we can truly live our life since we are the ones that are still here instead of living in grief, which is pain and suffering, which robs our life away. Hello, Kim. And so, some of the things that are important to me, yeah, I have my little notes, but I'm gonna probably go on my own too as we're doing the notes. Is one of the things is really, really, really important for us to acknowledge our feelings. We have to acknowledge them and allow them. When I'm talking about how long somebody grieves or don't grieve, or when I'm telling us that, we need to get the grieving done. It's only, to I want to talk more about we have to acknowledge those feelings, to go ahead and to allow those feelings, not to suppress them, because grieving involves a range of feelings from sadness to anger to guilt to numbness. You had a list too. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Right. Yeah. So it. Mm. Yes, it is so important. Yes, it is. I don't mean to override you. It is really important to allow ourselves to experience the emotions, even if they feel overwhelming. That's really important. I can hear you. Yeah, I see that too. Yeah. No, we're talking about grieving in the first place, so, if you guys wanna come and beat up and batter somebody that's already being beat up and battered, I mean, you ought to look within, you gotta see what your emotional self is doing. Now, we're here talking about grief because someone's in the middle of losing someone that they've spent a lot of time with, so here we go, we're gonna continue on and not give them too much of our attention. So it's really important for us to cry when you need to cry. Allowing yourself to cry is a healthy way to process the grieving. It's a way of letting it out. When you're crying, try to cry to let it out, to release, to let go, instead of crying like, oh, poor me. There's a different way. We can cry internally with different feelings, but if you're crying, I'm crying because it's time for me to let go. I'm releasing what we're releasing is we're releasing the pain, we're releasing the suffering, and we're allowing ourselves to continue on maintaining the love that we've had within that relationship or within that whatever it was, whether it was a job that we no longer have or whether it's an illness that you have or not. To go back to love, to embrace, we're letting go with the tears for the love to come. We do it with love. Love is so, so, so powerful. Mm. Yeah, we need your chat blocked. Telling you. It doesn't matter. It is the same actually. It's what energy do you want to live in? Do you want to live in the positive side of it or the negative side of it? If we got name callers there, that just shows me that they're the ones that are suffering. It's not. I know I'm not suffering. I know the things that they're saying aren't true about myself. And so that just shows me that's a reflection of them. So this show is not about them. This is about how do we let go with love when it comes to grieving or suffering? So we're circling back around. So it is important for us to express those feelings, talking about your feelings with someone you trust, or writing it in a journal, or creating some kind of art can really help. Are you there? What happened? Did you freeze? You
Hi,
back?
Cynthia. Yeah, volume was getting lost because we were on the call in the past and then the live, so it was echoing. That was the reason why we couldn't, audience couldn't hear us.
Oh,
Yeah, so now I fixed it.
okay. Well, I could hear you.
Yeah. No, somehow I had a call that was in the
Oh,
background that was continually going on, and that's one reason why I had the headphones on. I couldn't hear, and then I couldn't hear. But it's great quality now, so thank you. I
okay,
hope everybody
perfect,
can hear.
perfect.
I lost the last words that you had shared about the grief that
Now,
you said.
when we're talking about crying,
No, you mentioned about how people cope and different ways of grieving that it's about that we were talking and we got interrupted. So I'm sorry.
So I don't know.
Okay, we'll take a
I,
reset. It's okay.
all I know is it's really important for us to express our feelings, to go ahead and talk about that with somebody you trust, or to write it
Yeah.
down in a journal, or creating some kind of art subject can be very helpful. I also was talking about before that is, it's okay to cry, just as long
Yeah.
as we're allowing, to me, crying, there's different levels of crying. This is what you're talking about. There's different levels of crying we can do. We can cry to release, to let go, to allow the emotion to flow through us, or we can cry where we're crying more inward, me, poor me, and I'm not ever going to have this again, and this is gone forever. I mean, that's the self-talk we're doing. That's the self-talk that we really need to rewrite that story, flip that story around to a better one. It's like, I am grateful. This is where we go into the gratefulness. I am grateful and thankful for the time that we've spent together. I'm grateful and thankful for this moment, or what are you grateful and thankful for at this present moment? Because the most important thing is to bring ourselves back into home. Let's bring ourselves back into our centered place, because all we really ever have is the now. The past is always going to be in the past. It's
Yeah.
always going to be gone. And the future is never going to be here, because the future is
Mm-hmm.
now. It's always right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the most important thing for all of us to do, rather it's grieving of a loss of a loved one, or of a job, or the way that something in your life has changed for something better. It's really, again, how do we bring ourselves back into the present moment to live in the now, so we're not in pain and in suffering, because there's always going to be something. There's one
Mm-hmm.
thing after another saying, hey, here, I'm going to take you under. No, you can't do this. I'm going to put
Yeah.
fear there. I'm going to put doubt there. I'm going to get you to grieve a little bit longer. I'm going to get you to suffer. I'm going to put you into pain. But this is where I believe our mind is so much more powerful than we all give credit to, because we're operating in that lower vibrational energy, and how we're speaking to ourselves in that mind. So
Yes.
our mind has to change the story that's going on in the background, to change how we feel overall when it comes to the pain and to the suffering, so we can truly let it go. How about that
Mm-hmm.
one?
Mm-hmm. No, no, it's again, it's a movement, right? When you are also in that state of shock or grief, again, um, it's okay to grieve, okay to purge, but it's also a way
That's right.
to get your mind moving, because empty mind is devil's mind. So always have movement. And for me, for example, or I don't know anybody, but music is really important. Music in any form, sound baths, or
It
just
is.
go on a hike and listen to just the birds and the nature. I mean, there are many ways to process grief, and there are also writing helps, journaling helps, writing down your, goals, manifestations, or whatever you have. For me, again, it was a form of an art. Like I chose art as healing, and that allowed me to express myself. So, outdoor activities or art or writing poetries, and so those were good activities. But there's so many ways. Sometimes it's grief can be, say, like you heal it, right? Like my interesting exploration has always been that we can always move on. We can say we've healed, we've moved on, but sometimes it creeps up. Certain memories will creep up and just knock you out. And in moments like that, it's also like to honor them, honor those moments, those memories, or have gratitude for those experiences that you've had the moment to experience. So, but certain things I'm still figuring out that through chanting, through meditation, you know.
Mhm.
Um, there's so many ways, but it's again like I love that you shared self-care, because everything starts from that.
I think
Any
I think I think it's the most powerful tool that we can have. I mean, we give our love out there to everybody else in the world, and we forget to take care of ourselves. We really need to
Yeah,
bring that home. When we take care of ourselves, then we can take care of the world. you
yeah,
know, and part of to me, grief is an emotion, and one of the things about emotions are not who we are. The emotions do not define who we are as a character. Emotions are here to move through us. They're not supposed to get stuck into us, but it is what we do with the emotion. So one of the things we can always say when we start getting stuck is start saying all is well, all is well,
Yeah,
all is well, because that really does hone you back home. It brings you back home. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, oh, you know what? Everything is well, you know. I mean, it makes
yeah,
it so the pain isn't so intense. And then what you said, healing, and to heal to me is it what we're doing when we're using the mindset is changing the energy flow to the emotional self, that pain, that suffering, whether it's grieving from one thing or
yeah,
another, or whether it's hate or anger. It is the story that we have written in the background that's letting it hang around for as
yeah,
long as it hangs around. And until we take the time, to me, this is my personal preference, my personal experience. Once we take the story, re-script the story so that story is working for us for our highest good, which means
yeah,
it gives us strength, it gives us momentum, it allows us to continue on living our life instead of being walking zombies.
yeah, 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 for sure. And it's all about allowing those feelings also. Like you said, our feelings our emotions are not always our feelings, but that's where it is. They just pass through. And
Right. The
it's
emotions
like,
don't define us. Yeah.
yeah, it's like breathing, right? Breathe in, breathe out in that moment of also when you're emotionally filled with multiple thoughts or multiple things, your mind is going all over because it's almost like a panic attack people sometimes have. But again, it's like really presence is really, really like, I shared in my earlier life was it's absence of distraction is being present. So
Yes.
when we are in grief also, or since we are sharing so many things that can distract us, like we try to cope with distracting our mind with substance abuse, or for example, any kind of toxic vices that can be coherent for just time being, but then again, it allows us to escape. So things like that during grief is very important to keep them curbed because those lead more grievances because it does affect the memory, like the mind, the neurotoxins that we are having in our
Yeah.
body. It affects our mind. And so, like, earlier you said that you spring up because you have to build your energy. So in moments like that, it's important to spring up, then spiral down, and really know when the balance lies for us. And Kim actually mentioned a really great comment here. I don't know if you know about this book, but she said, like, when you mention the power of the mind, it makes me think of the book, The Master Key System.
Yeah. I
I will
haven't looked at it.
I will check it out, Kim. Thank you for sharing that
Yeah. Thank
information.
you. Mhm. I
And
believe our mind is so much more powerful and we're not using it because we are actually living where our mind goes to fear, doubt, insecurity, not whole enough, not complete enough as a go to basis. We go to worry before we go to trust.
why is that?
It's
Is that
because
a
of our
default human?
no, it's a generational thing. I was talking about this. I just think it was on my last show or something that the generations they had to there was a part of that they had to utilize for their survival.
Yeah,
So it became and so but we're not living in that past tense energy, but the emotional self we are. I don't have it right here in front of me. I don't
yeah,
remember what it, but it's talking about our ancestors had to utilize it. Oh, I was reading something about the power of laughter. That's how I have it. I can
yeah.
pull it up. I can find it because I have it written down now that I remembered where it was.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But let's see. Oh, I was talking about the generations. It says Okay, because it was talking about how laughter includes a knack for reducing stress, and it says we have to work at fitting more laughs in our day, just as we do with exercise. But rather than wait for someone to make you laugh or brighten your day, we need to make ourselves laugh more so. Okay, this is where it comes in.
Self-care.
But to get the health benefits of laughter, including the cackle of reduce to help reduce stress, or we have to work at fitting more laughs in our day, just as we do with exercise.
Mhm.
Rather than wait for someone to brighten our day. I already read that part, right? Okay, here it is. All right, I'm going to get to it. I promise.
It's okay, it's
but it,
okay.
but it that doesn't come naturally, and no surprise, because um, it, thanks to the evolution, we humans are hardwired to look for negativity.
Very true, very true. But you know,
Okay,
the beauty is in the space that we both have created here, we just delete the negativity.
that's right. But this is what it says: being on the alert for threats and dangers was a survival advantage for our ancestors.
Okay.
Okay, that's nice information to know. It's like it was survival for them, but it's not for us. We don't have to be under alert like they were then.
No. I mean, but it is a generation thing, I do believe, because I do believe that like my grandparents came from before the partition they moved to India, and how the generation after generation, it's about like the financial mindset, or it's all
Yes.
about like again raising your vibrations high, breaking those
Mm,
generation curse,
mm.
making sure
Yeah,
that we always, they say the fruit always falls further than the tree. So we all as generations, we all are striving for that, but still it's like the roots are, it's a part of the root, like the insecurity, fear. Like you have the pros and the cons, then you have the trust, the faith, the hope, the willingness, the resistance, the resilience, the determination, the perseverance, just go getter. So it's
so
such
that
a spectrum that actually, if we just pivot ourselves, it changes the look of grief, how it can be seen.
exactly, that's true. We have to work at bringing the positive emotions into our life, only because our ancestors went through all that grief and suffering and pain. Doesn't mean we have to. So that's why we have to look for more opportunities to laugh and smile. And so that's how I found out that information. I was looking up um, um, laughter is the best medicine. That's how I found that out.
Absolutely, yeah. And I want to say thanks to Kim. She shared a couple other information with us on the book. Actually, she said like, I'll read it. It's the emotional self is a newer part of the human being because we no longer want to hunt and gather to survive. And she said, I mean, a new awareness of the human being is um, hunt and gather to survive because we no
Yeah,
longer want to hunt and
yeah,
gather to survive.
that's why we're awakening now, is because we don't have to do all that other background work. Because if I have to do a lot of background work, I can't do this stuff. So,
Sure,
going through is a spiritual awakening, or waking yourself up to the emotional self. I mean, to me, when we learn how to handle that emotional self, that is a spiritual awakening, because all of a sudden you go, ah, and then you feel enlightened. It's like, because no longer is the pain and suffering hitting you the same way. That means when somebody else is angry around you, that you're not getting angry because they're getting angry. You're allowing them to be angry, and you're still holding your balance. Or when somebody else is sad that's around you, that you're not being sad with them, and oh, poor baby. It's not like that. You're allowing them to go through their sadness. It's like
yeah,
everything's going to be all right.
yeah.
So we're learning. So this is the generation that's it's an awakening to, we get to focus on us now. We get to focus on, flipping those emotional stories
Hmm.
around to better. And that's what
Hmm.
I actually wrote a book. That's what the title of the book is: Flipping Your Emotional Story Around to Better. And that's what I'm talking about. How did we get stuck into this? And it does have to do with generational ways, belief systems, um, just And yeah.
There's a victim mentality and there's a warrior mentality. You know, it's
That's
just crossing
true.
that rainbow bridge on that is like, um, it's all about, again, like, grief is going to stem from how you see yourself. If you see yourself as a survivor or a victim, it all depends how you're going to play with grief in your life. And
And so
it's
uh, it is a choice.
it is truly a choice.
Once we are awakened that we have the power to think what we want, we have the power to change that story around to a higher vibrational story, one that is serving us to our highest purpose.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
We get to truly step into our power and stop allowing our emotional self to rob our life away. Now we get to stand in our power and live our life because, oh yeah, thank you for sharing that with me.
yeah. Yeah, it's like we become the thieves of our own joy
Yeah,
because
that's
we
correct.
forget to actually enjoy the joy that we are in. You know, everything is like all's well, of course, but sometimes just when everything is well, we just, mind wants to play a little chaos games, and then we want to find something to bicker on. Uh, but that's where sometimes grief also knocks in, and then that's when you realize, like, oh, it was the thoughts, the
Well,
thoughts that led you to that.
and it really isn't our fault. And so it's once we realize it's not our fault, that the generation, it's in our blood, it's in our DNA to react and respond. And we've been trained, we've been led to operate from fear, doubt, and insecurity. It's not our fault. As we realize it's not our fault, it's easier for us to forgive ourselves too, for taking however long it's taken us for us to stand into our power.
Yeah, yeah. And, that's why it's like, be gentle with yourself no matter what you do. You're a
That's correct.
fragile, you're a fragile, precious cargo.
That's right. We are. We are. We got to take care of ourselves. The number one person that you need to be taking care of is yourself. Do that
Yourself.
self-love work. Take care
Yeah,
of yourself. The more you take care of yourself, the more you're going to be in alignment for having that, just everything just works out. Everything just is so perfectly. You don't even
yeah,
have to question, you don't even question life anymore. I mean, if somebody asks me why this isn't happening or that's not happening, I go, well, because the time's not right yet.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. In my 20s, I didn't understand that, but now I understand that, like, it's going to happen on its own course of time,
Mhm.
and I can't control it. So I'm just going to let it
No.
be out of my way. But yeah, no, that's what else do you express in the book that you shared about the laughter that you shared?
Oh, I
I
just
want to I
closed
want
it.
to get the title of it because I didn't I was not aware of that about you, Cynthia. So very
You
nice
weren't
to know.
you weren't aware about what part of me? You my book
The
or
book. Yeah, yeah, your book. I was not aware about your book actually. I just really like um
I meant when I first got everything together, I had some books on hand, but now I'm just down to this is my book.
oh, awesome.
It's called FlipN,
Uh-huh.
FLIPN, Your Emotional
Uh-huh.
Story Down to Better. And
Okay.
what we're talking about, let me just go to the chapters in it.
Sure.
It's really easy to read, okay? Because I wanted it simple, because I wanted anybody to be able to read it and kind of like get it.
Yeah.
So the first chapter is about balancing our inner self, and then so I talk about that and the different areas. And then the next chapter, I talk about building a relationship with yourself, because we're always trying to
Mm-hmm.
build that relationship out there, but we forget to bring ourselves home. Then my
Mm-hmm.
third chapter is about the emotional awareness. So, like, how do we tap in and tune into our emotional self? And
Yeah.
then I talk about on another chapter the divine masculine and the divine feminine that's in all of us. We both. I mean, it doesn't matter what your sex is down there. What matters is, energetically, we all have divine masculine, divine feminine energy inside of us to balance ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talk about the belief systems because that's kind of like what takes us out of alignment, and that's where we got the stories all mixed up. And then the last chapter is about flipping your emotional story around to better. So that's uh, yeah, that's what I got.
Nice. Now, how can we get a copy of your book?
Well, I do have it over there on Amazon.
You do have it on Amazon. Okay,
I
I will
do.
share the link. Maybe I could share the link a little. So that's a great one. I would definitely check out your book. And all the things you shared in your book about laughter and self-care and relationship with yourself and how to manage that, it's, every step of the way does take courage because um, strong love is self-love. And you know
I'm back.
you shared. No, I was just going over the points that you were sharing about. Like, I'm curious and I'm interested to get a copy of that and check it out. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I guess it doesn't let me put in. Yeah, I have this problem when I'm live too. I can't put into the chat why we're live on the chat,
I'll
not
add
from the
it
phone.
later after our,
Yeah,
our live is over. I can add
yeah,
that.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you again. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
definitely, that's main thing is all that you mentioned is that healing because of grief and the things that you shared about like self-care, self relationship, love with yourself, and really
Mm.
managing those elements. And then comes healing, and then you are amazing. You do so much energy work. Tell me more about it.
Well, I am a natural healer. I just know how to heal naturally. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've been an herbologist, so we're not really went to school for it or anything, but somebody could come to me and let me know what was going on with them, and I'd go to the herb store and I'd use some kinesiology, which I didn't go to school for that either, but I go
Yeah.
buy the herb bottles and I go like this and I
Yeah.
go this one, and I take
Yeah.
this out and not knowing what the herb or whatever it is, okay, now I go to look it up is exactly what that person would tell me what their symptoms were so I could match up what do you need to take for
Yeah.
the symptom that you got going on to help
Mm-hmm.
bring it to
Mm-hmm.
better. And then and then a massage therapist. I did go to school to become a massage therapist, but my ex-husband didn't like me doing that, so we didn't do that. But it was funny because I just got my certificate. That's when you met me. What do you mean you don't want me to do what I just went to school for, you know? But I could go to events and, I give everybody 20-minute massages, like one right after another. For 6 hours, all I'm doing is massages. And people are going, how do you do that? I go, because I'm healing the person within that 20 minutes massage that I was giving them. I'm healing them,
Yeah.
but I'm healing me too. It's a two-way, it's an
Yeah.
energy exchange. So,
Yeah.
um, so I'm just talking about how I know that I'm a healer. It's not any question.
Yeah.
People have, lost some things sometimes. Maybe somebody had this box that they had stored they put it in the forest somewhere and they needed somebody to look for it. And so they told me I could find it. And I go, what makes you think I could find it? Well, they knew about my skills more than I knew at that time,
Mm-hmm.
but it really
Mm-hmm.
woke me up. So I went out there with them and yeah, I was able to find that box just like that. It was crazy. So, and then with the cards have been around for about 32 years or something. And
Wow.
um, the very first, when somebody was reading my cards, I'm going, that's false information. I want my own deck. So I had a card reader give me my first deck of tarot cards, and I read their cards, and they're going, how do you know all of that? And I go, I don't
Yeah. Yeah.
know. So I was always just natural when it came to the card reading too. So, and my how I speak is just always been part of me. I've always spoke with a high I remember when I was 19 and I was in a big room with everybody talking and And they said, "Well, Cynthia Toet's gonna be the most successful person," and I thought I was shy, I didn't know what they were talking about, and they said because I knew how to talk to people, because no matter what story they brought to me, I did not let them settle for
Mm-hmm.
their less
Mm-hmm.
than story. Do not
Yeah,
talk to me less than about yourself, then you're gonna talk to me about me.
I like that. I need to work more on that.
So that's me as I know I'm a healer. I do not have any doubt, you know.
Yeah,
I lead and guide people to their better health, to, you know, giving
yeah,
them their lives back. Um, so it's kind of hard. I mean, as a healer, it's not like, hey, I charge this flat rate fee. It's like it depends on who's coming in, because, you know,
yeah.
I want to work with people that are ready to be worked with, not working with people that just want an answer and don't want to do the work, because that.
No, it's a disconnect.
Yeah. I mean, I do enough of that when I go live, but when I'm going live, why I'm going live is I'm building up clientele, you know, and in the long run, people are going, "Oh, I do want a personal reading off the clock with you," you know,
Mm-hmm.
or,
Mm-hmm.
or having, you know, I'm getting that multiple streams of income coming in from all different ways, whether it's for my book, or rather it's
Mm-hmm.
through
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, or rather it's through
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, rather it's
Mm-hmm.
through other courses that'll be sold in the long run.
Yeah. How how did you manage to like write this book also and then come up with all these amazing like, you know,
The book was the
information and
beginning.
knowledge you share? Huh?
The book was the book is my foundation. So
Okay.
I took the course with Book to Fortune with Arfin Kine over there in Irvine. I mean, he's got a
Mm-hmm.
big follower, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
they could see right away that I was already a coach. I didn't need what they had, but you know, what
Mm-hmm.
he gave
Mm-hmm.
me was structure, you know. So I understood the
Mm-hmm.
structure. Well, they gave me the Book to Fortune course for free while I was in the other course. It was expensive, you know, I have invested money into myself to have everything
Yeah.
in place. It's not something that I just know it all. I mean, I did invest quite a bit of money to be even a part of that program. But, so the book, they you know, he said, "We need to write the book for the foundation." Well, the book became my foundation because everything I do has to do with flipping the emotional story around to better. Rather, I'm talking
Absolutely.
to you on one-on-one live like this. Rather, I'm doing my self-love on my TV hosting program, Your Hidden Love Story on YouTube. Rather, it is I'm doing the tarot readings. When I'm doing the tarot readings, I'm finding that story that needs to be flipped around.
Yeah. No, it is really about all about narratives that we tell ourselves also,
Mhm.
right? Like that's how like we I don't know, like I thought it was an introspective during the healing work. I did that, you know, it's called the dark night of the soul work, you know, when you go through
Uh-huh.
that whole
Yeah,
but I think what I understand and gathered is that we have it's a daily work. It's daily, cannot be done like overnight or like,
no.
okay, 2025, my resolution is this. No, it's a daily work. And it takes a lot of courage,
Mm,
really, because
yeah,
to really own every part of us as a human self, you know, we
mhm,
are individually, we, just like you said, earlier you said, I think I remember you said about everybody focuses on negative first,
yes,
right? So it's just like, say, like men or women who feel physically in their, you know, they're not comfortable or they make their children also behave that way. Like it's
yes,
passed on, like that behavior is
yes,
passed on, right? And
it's
that's again like
generational abuse.
generation, right? So certain things like that are not related to just psychological things, but that are related to just a language, I would say, like a form of language, how the communication is. It's passed on generations without any really compassion seeing for the family member or the generation that's next to come. And that's where I find a grief when I see that, because I feel like there's so much space for compassionate communication within generations and families to take care. But you can't, when you really start seeing trickle down of family after family, then it's, in my observance, I've noticed that it is a daily work. It cannot just be done overnight. And grief is also just like that, or healing also every day, chisel into it, trying to um, learn, be something new than previous version of you, change the narrative, like that is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So flip and feel.
yeah, I don't think anything's overnight, and I do think that, what we're doing is we're changing a generational way and, going into the negative story versus the positive story.
Yeah.
When it comes to the emotional self, that's what I'm talking about. How is our mindset affecting how we feel emotionally? Yes, that's going to take us time, and it does take work.
Yeah.
And it is self-love work. It's taking care of yourself first. So when you
Hmm.
you personally start feeling out of alignment or out of balance, it is your responsibility to get yourself back into alignment as quick as possible.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so it comes to be an art work to identify when those emotions to come in, to catch them. "Ooh, I see you. I'm gonna take good care of you."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't get to keep staying
Yeah.
down in there with all that ache and pain. You
Yeah.
gotta be okay with me because 'cause I'm here to take good care of you. So, flipping the energy of the
Yeah.
emotion. I mean, because the moment you start feeling it come in, what's it do? And it starts spreading like wildfire. So it's like if this, the sooner we find it to nurture it, I'm going to take good care of you. I mean, be
I
fun
love the
about it.
caring way. I love the caring way you do it. It's so endearing. It's true,
Be-
because that's literally like our inner child.
That's right.
Holding that inner child and holding that inner love space and safe. You're safe. You're
Mhm.
okay. You're loved and all that. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a good experience to have that, to learn, do
It
healing work.
is. So I think we're in a really good generational time with
Yeah.
all the chaos and everything that's going on. I think the time that we're in is kind of like a blessing.
Yeah.
Even when COVID came, I was going to, "Oh, no, there's something good that's coming out of this." That's all I could see. I go, I
Yeah.
don't care what's going on the surface level. What I saw coming from it is us getting more tapped in and tuned in with self, and that's what's happening because it brought us all home, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we're
Yeah.
all home. Guess what? We gotta deal with
Yeah.
our own SHIT, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, but for sure, like they say after COVID you come out as a hunk, a chunk, or a drunk.
Oh, I got a hunk.
Yeah, so it all, I mean, it's 5 years ago, but still, like, for some people still go through that changes of a lot of lives change, a lot of family lives changed after that. um
Everybody I
but
know.
laughter is really the best thing, is, and that's one reason why I agree with you. We're really in a good time of our life in the generations we're living, because we can have access to all the tools we want to make us feel, joyful, or feel however we want to feel, we choose to feel. But we
You
have so many tools on our
we
fingertips
do.
that we can access, and we can grow to evolve and raise other people's vibrations also. So it's one of those things that it's fascinating, really fascinating. And
Do
then
you?
meeting people, meeting like you, like,
I
it's
know.
such a beautiful
It
thing.
is.
And then this blossomed also. It's again like, it's a, when you have good positive energies, they blossom. And that's the whole point, is like just to grow. You grow, I grow, you grow, everybody grows. And it's just growing with that whole really self-love and compassion, and really talking about uncomfortable things. I'm open about that.
So laughter is a really good medicine. And what I mean by that, because, laughter helps relieve pain, it helps with the heart, it helps reduce
Oh
stress,
yeah.
it helps
Yeah.
with your mental well-being, it helps with your physical well-being. Do you know that forced laughter is actually even more healthier than just us finding, us laughing together, because something got us spontaneous? But
Yeah.
it's important. We need to include laughter in our day as an exercise program at
Let's
least
do
three
it.
times a
Let's
day.
do it.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll share with you something in India back at home when I was growing up. I remember in the park we used to go for morning. We're going to school, so as we were passing a park, we would see all these senior citizens, and over there they'll do like ha 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 ha, ha. Like intense, like really breathing from your stomach and really like bringing that. And I'm more of like, let's do it. Why not? Because it actually helps change our
The
airflow,
vibration.
and
Yeah.
somehow it's got so many benefits to it, which I have to
Mhm.
re-educate myself on those. But I do remember even over here at some parks you'll see a whole community of senior citizens or just even young ones will join, and everybody, it's funny, you see the young kids driving or walking by, they're like, why are they all laughing? But now actually, like, as I'm grown, I can see that it is important.
So, well, you know about taking a selfie, right? You know
How,
what
like,
ta
with
you know what taking a selfie is, right? Well, now
like
it's
this?
time to take a laughy, where you take the recorder, you take your phone, and you put it on for 60 seconds, and you just start laughing at yourself, "Ha, ha, ha, hee, hee, hee," and then you go back and you watch it. Now, you're supposed to do that 3 times a day at least, you know? Maybe you can, make a several of them, and then you go back and you're watching yourself laugh, and then you get yourself to laugh again. Now, that is so effective. That's what I found.
Okay, how about we do something funny then? We'll
Okay.
do 30 seconds of just laugh, or expression of laughter, or you actually want the sound of laughter. We could do it. I don't want to wake my neighbors up.
Like, yeah, let's see. Where's the party here? We're gonna get the party started now.
Okay, we are about to laugh here. So,
I'm gonna get us laughing. Ooh. Where's my other thing, huh? No, don't. She wants to party now. Oh,
um,
nice. She's excited. She knows what laughing's all about. Here.
she's joining us. Oh, look at that. This is cool. That's so cool. I
You
wish I
know
had
what time
some.
is going. Ooh, I'm gonna start the timer now. Get that timer going. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I hope you have that timer going now that we're laughing.
Okay, so we can 30 seconds? Okay, we'll just do laugh loud from my
No,
stomach.
no, we're supposed to add 30 seconds. What do you mean? All right, you ready? Here we got you going now. Are we counting? Are we on 30 more seconds? Ooh, 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 ooh. I got her laughing now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So I get my 30 seconds every day. Woo, 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 woo. Now we got her laughing now. Move it, shift it. It's okay, it's okay. Daddy's got it, Daddy. Woo, woo,
My
woo. My
stomach
doggy's
hurts.
out here partying too.
My
Woo, woo,
stomach
woo.
hurts. 30 seconds are done. My stomach hurts. That was cool. That was cool. I feel better. I feel so much better already. See
See?
all that energy.
You're just shifted around.
I could feel like my stomach blood, like the blood flow rush. I could feel it.
Yep.
So that's
It's
awesome. I
cool,
hope
huh?
everybody else also laughed with us. I know Kim did.
I'm sure I'm telling you, I do that when I go live on TikTok, and I do that when I go live on my regular show. So I'm getting my laughing in, and getting my dogs in too. Every time she's got to join the parties.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
The little.
But if I wasn't going live all the time, that laughter isn't really in existence so much. So, it's really neat to do that research and find out, ooh, I'm fulfilling that part of my life.
No, it is, and you're sharing joy. You're spreading
Yeah.
joy together. Like it's just
Mhm.
amazing that even if someone can get out of this whole life, if they can forget their grief and they can laugh for 1 minute with us, I'm happy.
That's it. See, I'm telling you.
No, I'm happy. It's very important. And then again, it's like, I mean, I'm celebrating Isabella very much,
Yes,
very much.
yes.
And
That's
I
what
am
you're supposed to do.
completely, seriously, I think like after I spoke with you and then I spoke to a couple of my other friends, reached out to me, and I just felt like I am celebrating from here on, and I should be. And I don't
That's
think
what you're
I
supposed to do.
realized that. But going to the vet
Enjoy the
kind of like,
Yeah,
Cloud
enjoy the
evening.
moment that you have left with her, you know?
Oh yeah, I
"I
am. I
love
am
you so
capturing.
much, let's have fun, baby, let's party, baby, you
Oh
want some
yeah.
laughter? We'll get some
No, no,
play
it's fun. I mean, it's a blessing, and again, like it's helping to ease the pain of grief of letting her
Yes,
go, and it's
yes,
allowing me to celebrate her and see how exciting it's actually going to be for life after her life.
yeah,
So it's joy because I'm just like, happy to see that, and I'm completely changed my perspective towards grief now completely, because
yeah,
I was scared before. Now I don't see that. I think actually it's a good thing that they're free, they're going to live free, and they're going to exist in another realm, and they're always here, so they're still living around. And it's definitely like your help also, like you talked about it, and your messages have helped channel that, so thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, our spirit doesn't die,
Mm-mm.
just
No,
just
it
the
never
body
does.
just the bodies we come through.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel warm. Like I feel really like warm with
I
all this.
I see a big change in you from when we first got on live till now. You know, it's like
Yeah,
all this information, how it's coming down, it's actually doing some healing. We're sprinkling some fairy dust on there, getting some healing going on over there.
thank
Woo,
you.
woo,
Yeah,
woo, woo.
thank you.
Get you some more.
Yeah, I have some really super cool angels by my corner, and you're one of
Nice.
them too, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. But I've seen your aura change since the
Yeah,
beginning of the live show
from the
till
first
now.
call, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like I've been tapping into your YouTube channels, and I've watched your videos, and of course, like it's like I said, mad respect for what you do and how you carry forward with going on and on and on, sharing so much of talking and energy also. And it's like when do you get time for yourself? You know?
This is what I love to do though, and when I need time for myself, I'm taking that time, I do what everybody else does, but say if I take a whole day off, okay, if I have plans, that's okay, but if I have a whole day off with no plans, I'm gonna eventually end up doing something of what I do here because this is who I am,
You
it's not
love.
just
This is
going
what you
live.
love.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is what I love. I get on Canva, do my artwork there. I get on uh, creating my videos or planning my idea. What am I going to do next? Or I go out and record to put a post, a video. I mean, it's my life. And so, what
absolutely.
do you
Yeah.
mean? What do you mean? You want me to take a day off from my life? What I do know is I do have to know how much live time I do or not because there's so much behind the scenes stuff to do. It's like I just really want someone else to do it. But there's another part of me that really doesn't want anybody else to do it. I really want myself to really step into the power of wearing all those hats because I know how to do them all. And it's like,
'Cause this is your
so
dream.
it is my dream, but my dream wasn't right now. I can see that I have a business. I mean, I could place somebody in this position. I could put someone in this position. I could probably hire 5 people right now to which would actually make everything I'm doing explode. But because it's only me, it can only go so far because I
Yeah.
can't get the momentum that it needs for it to go.
Hmm.
So. mm,
And there's always a good reason why it's the way it is, because it's by you. It's going to be done right by you.
Oh, it's done by
It's
me.
got
It's
your
not.
touch and your energy, because the work that you
Yeah,
do requires
yes.
your energy, requires everything comes
Mhm.
through by you. So, yeah, it makes sense.
There's a beautiful story from the moment I started my You Hidden Love story. There's a beautiful story that's hidden in that story that's just so beautiful, and it takes me through this self-love journey too. It's like, "Oh, I gotta deal with that. Oh my goodness. Oh, let's dig that
Yeah,
crap out."
yeah,
That's how
yeah,
I'm able to lead and guide other people, and I
yeah,
love doing it.
yeah. But let me ask you this: what do you do when sometimes I know we are moving away from topic, but sometimes like
That's all right.
when you're like you said, you take care of your baby, like you nurture it, you bring it up, your vibrations. But see, sometimes like that's also a challenge. Then how do you help elevate that situation or that feeling?
I don't really find many challenges with it. I know that it's in existence. When I know that it's
Yeah.
in existence, then I start going to my tools, rather it's crystals or rather it's doing some kind of putting the altar workout or burning some sage or whatever, or drinking
Mm-hmm,
some different
mm-hmm,
herbs or changing my
mm-hmm.
diet or bringing something else in. What supplements am I taking? What supplements am I not taking? What am I thinking? How is that thought? I go to work. When it comes in, I go to work right away.
Yeah,
I go,
yeah,
"Okay,
yeah,
what's going on?" I've
yeah,
become like that X-ray machine, like looking through my whole body. What do you need? Oh, what's lacking? Oh, okay, I know that something's going on here. What's going on here? What do you need? And I really don't have to think about what I need when I ask. All of a sudden, the next thing is like somebody go, oh, blah 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 blah, and I'm going, okay, that's what I'm going to start using because that's what I need. Because
yeah,
it's like the information comes to me. I don't have to look for it. All I have to do is know that, oh, this part of my system needs attention. And so I start being my own X-ray machine and start looking to see what attention does that part of me need.
yeah, yeah. And that's also something, if I may ask, do you meditate or do you channel in?
Sometimes I have, well, I do have, so like if I get, because there's other people's energy too, because I'm doing a lot of
Yeah,
work. And so
yeah,
like I think it was last night's live, or maybe it was last night's live or the night before. I mean, it got really heavy. The energy on me got heavy. It's like, okay.
yeah.
So when that happens, I actually have a video that I listen to. It's a go-to video of mine, and it is called Releasing Other People's Emotional Feelings. I I
Releasing
I
other
have it
people.
I have it in every single one of my descriptions. Anything that I have, it's in my description. I have that person's YouTube link in mine.
Mm,
I do not know this person, but I
mm,
use that for the last 5+ years as my go-to when I start to feeling like this isn't my energy. I don't know where this is coming from. Why am I feeling confused all of a sudden? I'll turn that on within 15 minutes of me listening
yeah,
to a 30-minute video. I'm like, so then that proves to me that it was somebody else's, it wasn't mine.
yeah,
And it can come from anywhere. I mean, we don't even have to know the person and it can still come on in. So just using the tips and tricks. Sometimes I do some mirror work. Sometimes I use EFT tapping. I use a lot of Ho'oponopono prayer.
oh,
Um,
I know that one too. Yeah, I remember that one.
mhm. So just if it's something to do natural, I do probably it. I haven't had any Reiki training or anything, but I know I do Reiki, because I can work on people from a distance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Let's
mm-hmm.
get some more fairy
They
dust over
work.
there.
No, it works. It works. It works because Isabella received some Reiki energy also last week,
Mm,
so
yeah.
she's been well with that.
But I'm not certified. I've never taken any class in it. This is just part of me that, like, I'm
Yeah,
aware that I'm a healer and I can use all kinds of forms that I don't even know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
here, I didn't know that I could really, I like when I'm over there on TikTok, a lot of times they'll start asking me about a passed on loved one. And then I'm starting to pull in the passed in loved one to get the message out to what they need to hear the way that it would come through me. Okay. So I didn't know I had that talent. So TikTok's teaching me that, I'm a lot more open than I realize. So,
Medium as a mediumship.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
th-
also takes a lot of energy. I know it
Oh,
takes
yeah.
time.
They start bombarding me, and I'm going, you know what? That one cost you guys money. I go, that's not a freebie. I go, that takes some certain kind of energy. You want to know what your ancestors have to say that are passed on the other way? You need to cash out me.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And you have to protect yourself too because it
I
definitely
know.
there's so many energies and definitely just like laughter is contagious,
Yeah.
energy is also contagious
Oh, I
and
know.
we gotta keep
I, I,
ourselves guarded.
I have blocked people on my channel just because of their energy alone.
Yeah, yeah,
Nope. Uh-uh. Not
yeah.
gonna deal with you.
I had to do that earlier today when we started our live because I was like, what? I'm like, what? I'm here trying to talk about something peaceful and important that is an emotion, but this is not welcome.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
When sometimes I get some garbage coming in on my lives too, and I got to monitor it. So they just don't have nothing better to do. It's sad that that's where they operate from, but it's a projection. They're projecting out on you because they don't want to be looked at. And it's not me. It's you.
No, I totally understand that one. But Cynthia, I wanted to also check in on our time. Are you good with the time as of now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a night person, so
Nice. Okay, that's cool. I wanted to just ask if you wanted to have anything else besides grief that you want to share.
if
We
because
talked
I think.
about grief. Sorry.
Yeah, I think grief is just another part of the emotional pile. We have
Yeah.
this bucket that has all these emotions in it, and they just
Yeah.
have it. They're different level of emotions, but I do still believe, and will always believe, that we have the power in our mind to change the story going on around in the background that is supporting that lower vibrational energy. And once we realize that, once we get that, it gives us more power to take full responsibility about which direction we are going with our lives.
Yeah.
What energy do we want to be in? Do we want to be in that energy that my life isn't working for me? Or do I want to be in that energy that, you know what, I'm doing the best job I can at this moment, at this
Mm-hmm.
time, and this is working, and that's working, and this is working. But no, what we do is we focus, yeah, on everything that's not working. And it's like, no, let's focus on what is working. This is working, and this is working, and this is working, because that gives you forward movement. So again, I just believe everything comes right down to the mindset. I would I would almost put money on that most of our illnesses is caused by our mindset by 99%. I mean,
Absolutely. Oh
I just
yeah.
think it's extremely
Yeah.
high. I think if our mindset was operating from a higher vibrational energy, there wouldn't be illnesses, there wouldn't be sicknesses, because we would already know how to take care of ourselves.
Or wars. Just any of that too.
Exactly.
It's almost like this, right? Like this is the cup jar. It's water in the how do you see it? Half full?
I
Or
see it.
do you
No,
have
I see
something or
it.
you have nothing?
No, mine's down here. Mine's up
Yeah.
here. Is mine down
Yeah.
here? Or is it up here? Mine's up here. See, I
Yeah.
got plenty.
Yeah. Yeah. I have so much admiration because that's like when I meet new people, it's very interesting for me to really like as I'm really focused on who I want to involve in my life in the sphere of my inner circle, my immediate circle and the outer circle. So I always check on the mindset of people now. Whenever I'm introduced to somebody new or I meet somebody new or some new acquaintance becomes friend, but I always check in like is this a person with the mindset of sees the glass half full or half empty? Because it all is their attitude, the mind and the attitude. And based on that is which avenue they're going to go lead towards. Like, are they going to be a grieving person all the time? Are they going to be a fun person all the time? Or are they going to just be, they
The
don't really
mindset,
matter.
the
Doesn't matter to
mindset,
them.
yeah, that mindset is everything too, because if somebody is always complaining, I mean, I have friends that are no longer friends because all they can do is complain. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I've given you all the tools, you're not utilizing the tools, you want to stay in the complaining factor. Well, bye bye. I don't want to
Yeah,
be in the
yeah,
energy, you know. I
yeah,
get that choice. So,
yeah,
because of the mindset lets you know, do you think you got this next step or do you not? If you
yeah.
think the best, that you're doing the best and you're going forward, then that's a good mindset. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do this.
Yeah, and that again is also generational way, I think, sadly, or I may be wrong. I don't know. I'm no scientist,
Well,
but I
the
think
mindset, yeah, it's from the generational way.
it's psychologically something is just dormant. It just sticks, and it's again breaking the narratives, coming out of the comfort zone, and really
It's
doing the
been
work.
going It's been going on for generations. It's like generations deep, probably 7, 8, 9, 10 years back that we're breaking the curse of, lack or fear or not good enough, not worthy enough. I got to struggle. We're changing. Even if all of that was true, we're changing that. No, I get to live. It's not. I'm not struggling. I'm living. This is I get to have another challenge of the day. It gives me an opportunity to, conquer
Hmm.
this one or not. I,
Yeah,
I get that choice. I mean, I have my pile of things. So I have a choice. I probably got 100,000 things I can choose from
yeah,
today, but which pile am I going to take,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. And none of this, what's interesting is because I lived in 3 countries and my schooling was done in 3 countries, I've learned that life lessons, none of that is taught in schools.
I know. I
None
I
of
have
that is taught in schools. None of this, like even to develop the foundation of having a strong mindset, building a character, building
yeah.
your morale. I think I don't know about today's schools, besides the sports and other, but I wonder what the schools are like. Do they work on that, building the character? That's
I
more important.
I have a friend that's a school teacher, and she would beg to differ with me because I would say the same thing that you said, is that they
Yeah,
don't teach us our emotional self. They don't teach us what we need. And she goes, "Oh no, we do. We spend a lot of time at it." And I'm going, "No, they don't. They're not teaching us how to talk to ourselves." And so it's a mentality, but I don't hang out with that person anymore either, too.
yeah.
Just because not because of anything. Because I'm not trying to downvalue her position. I was just stating as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a lack mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So anyhow, uh, yeah, I'm rarely picky with who comes in my circle.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be because it's again energy. It's all about the energy and then what energy they bring for you, if they uplift you or downgrade you,
Well
or they're
well,
just
when you're doing something, where you got a big idea and you're moving forward and you're around a lot of people that have never
yeah,
had an idea like that, they have no way to support you. They have no way to lift you up. In fact, if anything, they want to bring you back down to their level because they feel more comfortable with you there,
yeah,
even though they love what you're doing and everything. They're,
yeah.
yeah, rooting you on, but they really want you back down to where they used to have you. Yeah, so you have to learn, okay, I have to be protective, that's time and energy. I don't want to waste my time and energy of you
Mm-hmm.
trying to pull me back down to be into your little niche of things when
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this is what I do. If I come and visit you and you see me doing something on a YouTube channel, you should be okay with it because there's pause time in here. You were off in the kitchen doing something else, and so I got on my canvas and I built me a little thing. You shouldn't be coming in and saying, "Hey, what are you doing? Doing work while you're visiting me?" No, that's not, that's not how you talk to me. Yes, I'm doing something that I love while I'm visiting you.
Come and say hi.
Yeah. I go, I'll stop at any moment. The moment that you're in here visiting, I put it down. I'm not on there while we're sitting here talking, so it's when you're getting into the businesses, you have to really make sure that you're in alignment with who you're coming into alignment with, because that's the person that is going to hold your hand, that's going to lead you or guide you, meaning not holding your hand, hold your hand, but, support you. It's a stronger foundation that gives you strength, that gives you momentum to go forward. That's why I love doing the coaching. It keeps me in alignment too. So,
No, it's beautiful. And
yeah.
coaching also is something that you have to deal with mindsets of people who are so maybe broken down or are struggling, from so many things. So what inspires what is it that inspires their mindset? Like how do you coach them? Just let me know.
Well, the thing is, the first thing I would do is we're going to talk to see what is it that gets in. We're going to set up the plan. Okay, this is a plan. Okay, what is going to stop you? What is going to get in the way? So we're doing the homework. So we get the homework going. Well, this is going to stop me, or this is going to get in the way. So the next time we get together, we're going to talk about, okay, how can we, take care of that before we go the next level into building that foundation. So we're doing is we're getting the roadblocks out of the way up front.
Okay.
And the roadblocks are all emotional.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
that's
since
true
I'm
too.
an emotional coach, I got this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's good. Um, I have what else I want to ask you is tell me about this. Okay, I'm curious to know grief, right? We like this is the main thing, but is that a subconscious or conscious thought?
I Personally, I think we were taught to grieve.
We were taught to grieve, so it's a subconscious. You mean, right?
I think we were taught to grieve, correct.
Okay. So,
Because as I'm in a point in my life that I don't feel grieving like everybody else talks about it, I don't go through it that way. I'm going, no, we must have been taught that, because I can go there. I know how to go there,
mm-hmm.
but I don't have to. Why do I want to go there if I don't have to? So I believe that we were
True.
taught how to grieve. How many of our ancestors, maybe they went through war, and a lot of people were dying at the same time, and they didn't know how to handle death. And so grieving became a big thing, and it got bigger and bigger, and it piled up. And now we don't even know what to do with it. And I'm not sure. That's the only thing I can think of is so we weren't taught. I think we were taught how to grieve. We were taught how to suffer.
Yeah. Oh, we were not even taught how to break down that grief, how to break down how that grief even came upon. Because it's always about resentment. Grief comes out of like, resentment feelings. And then that's the grieving they're doing is because of the resentment feelings. But really, how the grief perks up also on generation after generation, it's true, it is thought. I think it is subconscious. Um,
I'm
yeah.
not saying I haven't grieved. I've gone through my share of grieving. I mean, when my mom and
Mhm.
dad split up when I was younger, and my dad was everything to me. And but
Mhm.
once they got divorced, I never got to see him anymore. And there was
Yeah.
anger, and there was frustration, and there was hate in there. And then one day, I just all of a sudden I woke up. I'm going, no, I'm okay. I understand that sometimes two people get together and they can't make it together. I am okay
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
um, I started rewriting my script and my story about my dad, instead of, looking at, well, he left me. I don't look at it that way. He gave me everything that he could in the time frame he was in. And there are other stories that are going on too, that I can have anger and frustration, or not
Yeah.
have trust, but again, I felt like it was all almost pre-scripted, because I remember, mom would be talking about this, and so, so I'm supposed to be mad because of that. Well, would have I really been mad if that didn't all get, you know, talked about, like, something was
Yeah.
wrong about it, because was there anything wrong with it? The only thing that was wrong with it is somebody saying that was something was wrong with it. I don't know. Hey, Pop Queen.
Okay, Pop Queen. Yeah, no, it's really, it's again inner child. It's all about coming. The inner child is so wounded that the grief is coming from. And I'm back and happy to see y'all. Welcome back.
Pain and suffering from when we were younger, so, and maybe when we grieve harder when we're later in life, I don't know. Um, some of it's built up from the past that still hadn't been dealt with.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do believe that there's stories that need to be rewritten within our own subconscious mind to bring it around to excuse me, to a higher vibrational energy. So we are no longer in that grieving, we're no longer in that suffering, we're no longer in
yeah,
that pain,
yeah.
you know. And I
And
do believe it's important for us to find something that we love to do. Like, you're finding Corona's creation and myself finding me going live on social media. I place to self-express myself. So I think that's important.
awesome. And you share laughter, you bring joy, you help heal, you bring so much light and positive energy, Like I feel that you're like I was telling Kim, I was like, Cynthia is so awesome. Like, there are certain people you'll know two types of people, and you'll know people who just know how to take and be okay with it, come back to you, take and be okay with it.
Mhm.
But there are some people who are going up or flying in a direction, and they're taking others with them also in a way of like, come, you can fly too, come, you can do this too, like that encouragement, because that's the distinction I shared with Kim about you. I said, I noticed this thing about Cynthia and I really admire, and it really melts my heart. Like, you made these cool like thumbnails for Isabella, and you did for my Karuna creates too. And I really like Cynthia. I have known somebody else also in this line of work, and I have not seen that kind of support and love that I've seen in a short period of time, just knowing you. And to me, that's where I have mad respect for you. I'll say that again and again.
Aw.
Because you're not only like somebody who preaches, but you practice what you preach. And it shows, Like, even what you shared today, this was our second live together, and you share everything so authentically that it is, it's literally like you're like that cool ass person who's like, I'm me, take it or leave it. And I'm the same way, take it or leave it. There's no facade, no agenda. And also, really, like, I've been watching your videos and I've seen like your energy is consistently the same, in that loving, consciously, compassionate ways. Like you really, and when you shared like how you understood what I was doing, it made me so happy to know that like you could see what I was trying to showcase from my work. And that's why I just want to give you kudos for that. And
Aw.
hopefully, like, continue with that momentum, because you're not just you're showing others that, look, I'm working on myself, I'm getting it together, you can do that too, join the party.
Yeah, I've cried on my live. It's like, okay, I'm crying now. You get to watch
Yeah,
me flip
like,
my emotional story around a live
yeah.
better right here live.
No, and that's very empowering, and that's very, very like rare to find, and all, like, really consciously, like, completely, who's showing not only the growth of themselves, but allowing others to grow with themselves. And that's
Yeah,
rare, really
it
rare.
is. It is
And
because everybody has some kind of expectation of something. But me, I allow everybody to be where they're at, you know. For
Oh yeah.
one, what most, you know, I do not know where the other person, like when I have people on the other side of the screen, I don't know what their life story is. I mean, I don't know what they have gone through. So I'm going to still treat them as an equal with higher most respect, that because I know the information that if they're there for me, then they are there to be fed this emotional story, to empower them. They're here to get some strength that they've never had from anyone else. If I'm the person that's able to do that, that's what I want to do.
No,
Pop Queen, she's the
absolutely.
best. You
Huh?
Pop Queen, she's always leaving me good comments.
Yeah, I was just reading. Actually, she did say, I think you feel more permission to grieve more as an adult versus when you're a child. They tell you to be quiet. True. Huh? Oh, definitely listen. I tell her all the time I would be where I am if it wasn't for her. Yeah, K-pop. Thank you. It'd be nice to bring K-pop online. I don't know if I can add her or them.
You can bring one person in at a time. You can bring her.
Oh,
You
I
drop me
can.
off. If you drop me off, you can bring her in.
Oh, no, I wouldn't want that, Cynthia. I wouldn't want that. But I don't know, but thank you, K-pop. Maybe next time when Cynthia's doing live on her channel, Cynthia, let's share your channel name.
It's Gypsy
Gypsy
Medicine Woman.
Medicine
Woo, woo, woo,
Woman.
woo.
Yeah, please,
That's the
please
channel to
subscribe.
go to. And you want to watch my live every Monday and Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, that time. Yeah. What is my live? It's called Your Hidden Love Story. Come on over and check it out. We're going to dig in deep to do some deep self-love. Yeah, we're going to do that self-love work. Yeah, that's where that hidden love is. It's
Yeah,
inside you. Yeah, we're going to pull it
we're
out. So
gonna
we're going
pull
to
it out.
extract it. Yeah, so you can be
We're
the
gonna.
best version of yourself. Woo, 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 woo. So come on over and join me live. Woo, woo.
Since K-pop is here, we should celebrate the laughter session again. We should introduce the laughter session to
Okay.
K-pop too. So K-pop, I don't know if you heard before, but we were talking about the subject was about grief, and from there we transformed into taking breaks of laughter, because the subject can be heavy for some folks, or it could be uncomfortable. But at least laughter is good, and Cynthia has been amazing, and I've been just helping with that. So 30 seconds of just laughter, and tell us how you feel after that. Like,
You ready? You gonna start? Ooh, 1, 2, 3. You ready? Go,
let's go.
go.
1, 2, 3, go.
You're timing. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, we're gonna be laughing. It's
I'm
another
gonna wake.
party. Ooh, ooh,
I'm gonna.
ooh, ooh. We're gonna celebrate.
I'm gonna wake my cats
Ooh.
up.
You know, you gotta laugh harder. You
It's a
gotta do
jiggle
it
party.
more.
It's
Yeah,
a
we
jiggle
gotta
miggle
focus
party,
on
and it's
laughing.
about
Woo! It raises your vibration. Yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah.
wake up the
Shift things
neighbors. Let's
around,
go.
move it around.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
All is well.
yeah. Let's
Yes,
go,
all
let's
is
go, let's
well.
go, let's do it.
All is well.
Woo!
All is well.
Yeah,
And
they say 30 seconds or 60 seconds. It's called a laughy, you know. Take a laughy at yourself.
take a laughy. Yeah, take a laughy break.
Take a laughy break. Woo, woo, woo.
Take a laughy break. That would be a good. Oh, it gave me an idea. I
That's
should
a
create
new
something.
title,
Take a
huh?
laughy break.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
okay, take a laughy break. I can do meet and greet with a laughy break or something. Everybody gotta come in laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
We
might
will
get tired of
definitely do. We'll definitely
laughing.
do a good live where you can bring more people, and then that would be a great way to feel the energy lighter and just
Mhm.
decompress. But I have to actually take the time out for the night. Are you
Yeah, I'm
okay?
ready too.
We would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good
Okay.
too. All
Okay.
right.
So awesome. Thank you again,
All
Cynthia.
right.
I
Thank
I
you.
will hope that folks please leave your comments and any messages that you have for me and Cynthia. Please don't forget to subscribe to Cynthia's channel, which is Gypsy,
Gyspy
medicine woman,
woman. That's right.
and she is amazing coach, amazing healer, and thank you again, Cynthia.
You're welcome. Till next time.
Thank you.
Pa,
Yes,
pa, pa,
ciao.
pa.
Bye.